Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for cash tags. For that, let's bring in our next guest. It's going to be Andy Swan, co-founder at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Thank you.
All right, so we're talking travel. Expedia has been under pressure, off about 23% this year. But Andy, what kind of data are you guys seeing in the travel? Because over the last year and a half, 2 years, that's all we've talked about, how strong demand is for travel and experiences and people going on vacations. Are we starting to see any weakening data on that side of it? Because last week, bookings reported earnings, the stock fell 9%, and it was already under pressure.
Yeah, and you put on top of that Airbnb, got a massive haircut when they reported earnings and warned about the future, saying that overall travel demand was weakening. I take exception to that a little bit based on Likefolio data. I think that it's very segmented in terms of consumer demand levels. Certain industries are doing very well, others not so well. Certain demographics are doing very well, others not so well. I think that separation is starting to happen now, but I wouldn't paint as broad of a brush as Airbnb did. And I think Expedia will be a beneficiary of that, at least. The fact that Airbnb really lowered the bar for Expedia coming into this earnings report to a very low level along with booking. So we think Expedia is in a really good spot. We see web traffic levels pretty much continuing to stay up and to the right, maybe just a small blip lower, but we don't think it's indicative of anything to come in the future. And honestly, we really feel like Expedia is simply a better company than Airbnb and is going to execute better with whatever headwinds may be forming. So from an overall perspective, I think Airbnb gave Expedia traders and investors a potential opportunity going into this report by lowering the bar the way that they did. I think that the company will come out with really good numbers. I think that their outlook might be slightly cautious, but the market is expecting something a lot worse. And so I think Expedia is primed to pop here.
Andy, the relationship between Expedia and Airbnb is sort of, to me, feels like the relationship between Disney and Netflix, right? Airbnb has one thing they do, yes. And I could name 8 or 9 different companies that Expedia holds. And one of them is VRBO, which is the basic equivalent of an Airbnb. That said, is this the best choice? Now, what I read about it, this has the best valuations, but is Booking Holdings a more quality company? Which is the best of breed in this group, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, we've said it's Booking for quite a while. I think that remains true. Expedia pretty much a pretty close second. I think they're a very competent company. I can't say the same for Airbnb. I think they've tripped over themselves far too many times to give them the benefit of the doubt. But Expedia, definitely a good company. I think the VRBO integration has gone pretty well. I will say, though, I'm pretty disappointed as a user. They have this one key loyalty program that's supposed to change the world. We rented a VRBO last weekend. I think we spent $1,400, and I got notice yesterday that my one key rewards were $1.14. I don't think that's going to bring me back anytime soon. So I think they got some things to figure out with this loyalty program. But Expedia, I think definitely a strong second place silver medal finisher in the travel industry.
Come on, that's a free medium Coke.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, Andy, we've starting to see some cracks and softening in the travel industry, whether it's, Disney talking about their parks, people aren't spending as much money, airfares domestically starting to contract here a little bit. That's squeezing the margins on the airfares. When I look at Expedia, I always look at Expedia when I'm booking a trip just to see what the pricing is on it, and then I'll go directly to American or directly to my hotel website to book. Is that part of the problem, is the monetization? And I know they're relying on advertising a lot more also. Is that part of the problem also? And I think guidance might be the key to this earnings report above anything else.
Yeah, I think guidance is going to be the key. I think there, of course, are problems with people using Expedia simply as a showroom or reference site. They have some ways of tracking cookies to still get some compensation on that overall. But I like Expedia's global footprint. I think that their VRBO unit domestically will be down, just like Airbnb. So I think Airbnb, what they can see, they're right about. But what they can't see is everything else, like Kevin said, is what Expedia is good at, and that's global footprint, multiple business units, and attracting a pretty high-end consumer, which is still doing very well. So that's why we think Expedia could significantly outperform the low expectations that Airbnb has set for this market.
Yeah, and you got to remember that they've got that full service as far as travel goes. They've got cheap tickets, Orbitz, Travelocity.
So many names.
I didn't even know Orbitz was still a thing, but they own it.
Hotwires, car rentals, cheap tickets, hotels. There's probably 7 or 8 or 9 different companies within this company.
Yeah, and I think we have to take it with a grain of salt because Expedia did fall after bookings earnings also in reference to that. All right, great stuff. As always, Andy, appreciate it.